Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again, ready to peel back the layers on your sources and give you that shortcut to really understanding complex topics.
Today, we're carrying on from our last chat about how our minds work, specifically using that cognitive behavioral therapy lens.
Yeah, the CBT framework. And we're starting right at the beginning, aren't we? That initial moment.
That spark, yeah, the moment things either go, well, sideways or sometimes surprisingly
Okay,
nice.
I have to share something that happened like right after we recorded last time. It was almost textbook.
Oh, really? Do tell.
So we talked about positive patterns, right? Do good work, get praise, feel good, simple. Well, the very next day, I reported this huge win at work, digitized a massive internal process, saved the team, like tons of hours.
Okay, sounds great.
And I was mentally, bracing for that positive feedback loop to kick in, the praise.
And I suspect you were perhaps set up for a bit of a letdown.
That's putting it mildly. The praise just wasn't there, totally absent.
Yeah.
And not only that, but then someone else gets named Employee of the Month for something completely different.
Ouch.
Exactly. And bam, instantly, that broken expectation just triggered this wave of negative stress, frustration, feeling undervalued. The whole automatic negative spiral felt huge.
Well, look, that experience, even though it sounds pretty rough,
It was.
it's actually the perfect jumping off point for today. It shows just how fast the mind reacts when an expected pattern gets disrupted.
Yeah.
So today, our focus is squarely on that very first crucial letter in the ABCDE framework we introduced.
Yeah.
A for activators.
Yeah.
Or, triggers.
Right. A for activators. And the mission today for us and for you listening is just to get better at spotting these things, these activators, both the good ones and the bad ones.
Exactly.
Without immediately trying to fix the whole chain reaction in our heads. Because honestly, trying to analyze A, then B, then C all at once, it just feels like too much.
It is too much at the start. It's like trying to, juggle 5 balls when you've never juggled before.
Yeah. You just drop everything and get frustrated with juggling itself.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So patience is key. And the first thing to really grasp is that the mechanism behind your disappointment and say the burst of pure joy I felt when I finally assembled that impossible IKEA thingy last weekend.
Oh, I know those.
It's the same fundamental automatic mental process. The intensity of the feeling, good or bad, that's your clue. That tells you a powerful activator just went off.
I find myself always playing catch-up, though. The reaction hits, and then I try to figure out what happened. The speed of it is what gets me.
Well, that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? The ABCDE model, it describes this really fundamental sequence. A, the action or stimulus.
Right.
Immediately cues B, the beliefs or thoughts.
Okay.
Which then instantly generates C, the consequences of emotions, behaviors, physical feelings. It's designed to be fast. It runs on autopilot, often totally unconsciously. The brain loves efficiency,
So if it's all automatic, where do we come in? Where's the conscious control?
Good question. That's where D and E come into play later. D for dispute and E for the new effect or learning.
Okay.
Those are our conscious tools. They're unique to us humans, really the ability to step back, interrupt that super fast automatic process, and adjust it.
Oh.
But crucially, you can't dispute something if you don't even know what set it off.
Which brings us back to A. We need to slow down and just see the A.
Exactly. Identify the activator.
Okay, so let's nail this down. What exactly is an activator? Is it just, the thing that makes me mad or happy?
It's a bit broader. Think of an activator as basically any stimulus, internal or external, that causes a reaction in you, anything at all.
Okay.
And we can split them into 2 types, which helps. First, external activators. These are the objective things happening outside you.
Like people, places.
People, places, specific situations, objects, that team meeting where your report got skipped. Those are external, observable facts.
And the other type, the trickier ones.
The more slippery ones, yeah. Those are the internal activators. They bubble up from inside.
Like it?
Memories popping up, private thoughts, those unspoken expectations you had.
Like my expectation of praise.
Exactly. Or, and this is really important, unmet needs physical ones, like being tired or hungry, or psychological ones like needing safety or belonging.
Okay. Internal. Makes sense.
But here's the absolute key insight about A, the really big one. You ready?
Lay it on me.
We cannot change the activator itself.
Wait, what?
We have to practice what psychologists sometimes call radical acceptance of the activator.
Radical acceptance of the trigger. That sounds a bit passive, like giving up. If I just accept the traffic jam or accept my colleague got the praise, or not just letting it happen. How does that help?
But you're not accepting it passively in the sense of liking it or approving of it.
Yeah.
You're shifting where you put your energy. Radical acceptance means acknowledging that external stuff, stimuli, events, they are going to happen constantly. Whether we like it or not, the traffic jam exists.
Yeah.
The colleague got the praise. That's reality.
Right. It happened.
By accepting the stimulus, the A, as a fact that's already occurred and is now outside your control, you free up all that mental energy you would have spent fighting it or wishing it were different, and you redirect that energy to the only things you can control, your response, your B, C, D, and E.
So stop fighting the wave.
And learn to surf it instead. If you waste time yelling at the wave, you've got no energy left to actually, stay on the board.
Okay, that distinction feels huge, actually. It stops that useless mental wheel spinning of, why me? Why this?
Exactly.
And shifts it to, okay, this happened. Now what? How do I want to think and feel about it?
Precisely. And, when people resist accepting A, what do they usually do instead?
Avoid it.
Bingo. Avoidance. The classic defense mechanism.
Guilty as charged. Definitely taken the car to avoid the packed train or, conveniently forgotten about a meeting I was dreading. It works. Short term, anyway.
Oh, it absolutely offers temporary relief, no question.
No.
But it's like putting a bandage on a broken bone. It's a short-sighted fix that ultimately traps you.
How so?
Because avoidance protects the underlying belief, the B, that got triggered in the first place. Maybe the belief is public transport is dangerous or I'll definitely mess up that presentation.
Okay.
So you avoid the situation, the A, but that core belief just sits there, untouched, waiting. It guarantees the fear or anxiety will just pop up somewhere else in a different situation.
Right. The root cause isn't addressed. Okay, so we can't avoid A, we can't change A, and trying to analyze A, B, and C all at once is overwhelming. So what's the practical tool? How do we interrupt that automatic leap from A straight to C, the feeling?
We need something simple, something immediate.
Yeah.
And honestly, the most powerful first step for building that conscious awareness is, well, it's almost laughably simple.
Okay.
It's the aha technique.
Just saying, aha, when I feel triggered. Seriously. When I sound a bit odd, like pausing mid-argument to go, aha.
You don't have to boom it out loud, though. You can if you want. You can just say it silently, internally, to yourself.
Okay.
But yes, that tiny intentional act, it's incredibly powerful.
Sure.
The moment you feel that rush of anger or that knot of anxiety or even that unexpected swell of pride, that one little word, aha, is enough to pull the process out of the unconscious autopilot and into conscious awareness. It's like hitting a tiny pause button, a cognitive veto that gives your thinking brain a split second to notice what's happening.
Okay, I can see that. It's like a deliberate little speed bump for the brain. So once we've managed the aha, put the brakes on, how do we then look at the activator, the A, without immediately getting sucked into our thoughts about it, the B, or the feelings, the C?
Right. This requires discipline. You have to become a detective, a fact finder. Yes. You focus only on the situation, the stimulus that caused the feeling, pleasant or unpleasant. And you document just the facts. Strip away all interpretation, all judgment.
Okay, so pure observation, like who was there, when did it happen, what was actually said or done, no spin.
Exactly that, no spin. This is often the hardest part for people starting out. You have to resist adding the emotional color or your interpretation.
So instead of writing down, my boss totally ignored my brilliant report because he's biased.
Right, because that's already full of B, your belief about bias, and C, your feeling of being ignored or angry.
So the factual version would be?
Maybe something like, during the 10 a.m. meeting, when reviewing the project update, the manager moved from discussing point 4 to point 6 on the slide, skipping point 5, which contained my data. See the difference?
Yeah. It's completely neutral, just what happened. That separation feels really important.
It's critical.
And what's the payoff for doing this, for documenting these dry facts? Seems like a bit of work.
But the payoff is significant. When you start logging these triggers, either right when they happen or maybe reflecting back daily or weekly, you start to see patterns emerge. What feels like this constant chaotic barrage of different triggers day in and day out often boils down to just one or two underlying types of situations that consistently set you off.
Like what?
Maybe it's always situations involving authority figures, or perhaps it's always situations involving uncertainty or lack of control, or maybe it's about perceived criticism.
So the endless triggers aren't endless at all. They're just variations on a theme.
Exactly. And suddenly, the problem feels much more defined, much more manageable. You're not fighting the whole world anymore. You're dealing with this specific pattern.
That makes a huge difference psychologically, I bet, contextualizing it.
It does. And speaking of context, to really understand why these activators hit us so hard, we should bring in Maslow.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The pyramid.
That's the one. Starts with basic physical needs, safety, then moves up through love and belonging, esteem, and finally self-actualization, right?
Yep, got it.
Well, activators, these triggers, they're potent because they essentially signal either a threat to one of these needs or a confirmation of one.
Yep.
Now, here's the really practical link. If one of your basic foundational needs is already unmet or threatened.
Like physical needs or safety.
Exactly. If you're operating from that shaky foundation, your emotional reaction to a higher level activator, something related to esteem or belonging, will be massively amplified.
Can you give an example? Make that concrete.
Sure. Let's say you've had a terrible night's sleep, maybe only 4 hours. You skip breakfast so you're hungry, and maybe you're a bit stressed about paying a bill that's due.
Okay, so basic needs are definitely shaky, physiological, and safety.
Right. Your foundation is wobbly. Now imagine in that state, you get an email from a colleague with a tiny, maybe even slightly nitpicky correction on a piece of work you did.
Okay, a relatively minor thing usually. An activator related to maybe recognition or competence needs.
Exactly. But because your base needs are already screaming for attention, your reaction to that email is likely to be huge, way out of proportion. You might feel intensely criticized, defensive, maybe even have a full-blown emotional meltdown over it.
Wow, so the lack of sleep and food basically poured gasoline on the little spark from the email.
Perfectly put. Your physical state dramatically compounded the perceived psychological threat.
That is incredibly useful. So when we get triggered, the advice isn't just what was the trigger, it's also check your foundations.
Yes. Ask yourself, am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I feeling generally secure right now? Sometimes stabilizing the base of the pyramid, getting some sleep, having a meal can dramatically lessen the impact of those higher level triggers.
Deal with the physical reality first. That holistic view makes so much sense for understanding why my reaction, the C, is sometimes so intense.
Precisely. It's all interconnected.
Okay, so recapping for this stage, our main job right now, the listener's job, is just awareness of A. Use the AHA technique. Use that neutral fact-finding documentation. And be patient. This starts the slow burn of changing habits.
It does. And actually, that leads us nicely into setting up our next deep dive with maybe a slightly provocative thought.
Ooh, I like provocative. Go.
When you've been talking about the ABCDE sequence, standard CBT approach, but B, beliefs, automatic thoughts. They're notoriously tricky to identify accurately, right?
Definitely. They feel hidden, deep.
So the question is, for learning this, for actually applying it effectively, should we stick rigidly to A, then B, then C? Or should we maybe think about swapping B and C?
Whoa, swap B and C. Go from A straight to C and then look at B. That feels like messing with the formula. Why would we skip over the core thoughts, the B, that supposedly drive the whole thing?
It's a pragmatic reason, really. Think about C, the consequences. What does C involve?
Well, emotions, feelings, behaviors, physical sensations, you said.
Exactly. Emotions, yes. Behaviors, yes. And crucially, those physiological changes. Think about it. Sweating, your heart racing, maybe getting flushed, that knot in your stomach, trembling hands, your voice changing.
Yeah, those are very real, tangible almost. You can feel them. Sometimes others can even see them.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They're much more observable, much less easily masked than the hidden, complex, often deeply ingrained automatic thoughts that make up B.
Okay.
Those thoughts, the B part, are internal cognitive patterns, often formed over years. Very subtle, very quick. They can be incredibly elusive, even deceptive. Honestly, isolating them accurately takes practice, sometimes even professional health.
Right. Pinning down the exact thought in the moment is hard.
Very hard. So the idea is, what if we start with the more obvious evidence? If we first identify the clear, objective, often physical effects, the C.
The sweating, the anger, the running away.
Yes. If we start there with the visible manifestation of the trigger's impact, maybe that gives us an easier entry point. It's a more accessible way to then work backward, to reverse engineer and figure out the hidden B, the thoughts and beliefs that must have been driving that C.
Start with the smoke. C to find the fire, B, instead of trying to find the hidden fire first.
That's a great analogy, yes.
Okay, I'm sold. That actually makes a lot of practical sense, especially for someone just starting to use this framework. Start with what's most obvious, the C. Build some confidence in observing that before tackling the really deep, tricky stuff, in B.
That's the thinking. Let's make it as practical and accessible as possible. And that's the path we'll explore next time.
Fantastic. So the big takeaway for everyone listening today, getting a handle on your automatic reactions really starts maybe even half the battle, is one just by committing to noticing the activator, the A, having that simple aha moment, that shift from being in the reaction unconsciously to consciously observing that a trigger just happened. That awareness is foundational.
Absolutely. And so the challenge for you this week is just that. Dedicate some time, maybe just a few minutes each day, only to observing and maybe jotting down your activators. Positive ones, negative ones. No judgment, no trying to change anything yet.
Just notice.
Just notice. Trust that the awareness itself is powerful. Believe in the process.
Excellent advice. Okay, so next time on the deep dive, we're taking that potentially controversial leap, skipping over B for now, and diving straight into C, consequences, reactions, emotions, behaviors, those physical tells. We'll use those as our clues.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us today as we tackled this crucial first step.
It's been insightful. We'll talk to you all next time.